Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the Czech Community Call. Today is the 15th of November, and we can start as usual with release section. So 7.38.0 is in progress, and about upcoming events, we can say that this week the econ will happening. So please attend if you have a chance. And for the topics in the agenda, the first one is from Ilya about the trying web ID action. So Ilya, could you introduce this topic, please?
Yeah, hey folks. I wanted just to follow up on the discussion we had last time on Monday regarding the enabling trying web ID GitHub action. So we actually put probably pretty aggressive deadline to have it all done by in a week. So I have tried a couple of things already. Apart from the repositories like docs and Kubernetes image pooler plugin registries that already have those. So I tried to add it to dashboards and the operator. So my feedback is basically that on dashboard we use the Docker Hub related image, and there is a known problem with image pool rates. So the recommendation here is that we need to move to Quay. That is the most, so in our dev files, we should use Quay as much as possible because there is no easy way to fix it other than like creating manually some image pool secrets in the developer sandbox namespaces, which is currently not automated. And for the operator, the feedback is basically that a dev file refers to the non-existent nightly image, so it needs to be updated. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I sent a couple of pull requests, but there are some follow-up actions that need to be taken. And if you have any other feedback, then you're more than welcome to speak up and we can discuss it.
So, a few remarks from my side, Ilya, on this. First, thank you for introducing all of this. It's very good and useful, but unfortunately not all the repositories can consume it in proper way. For example, try in Web IDE doesn't give enough space to test everything, for example, for chair operator, because we can build it there, but we cannot actually test it. So it doesn't make much sense right now. Second issue, as I mentioned previously, it's a lot of spamming. And we could disable that commenting stuff, but mostly people doesn't do that. And as existing examples shows, for example, with JDocs repository, there is a lot of spam comments, really a lot. And to me, it looks like a serious bug of this GitHub action, and I believe it should be fixed before we enable it in every repository. But again, it's my own opinion, and again, thank you very much for introducing all of this. It's really good. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Alexander, regarding the first comment about the not possibility to test in like end-to-end the image pooler. I think that this is actually exactly the feedback we would like to get. But it's like an open question, how should we centralize it? Because we had this document, I think it called some kind of, I don't remember, but it was like dog food in readiness, whatever, about like when we rated like at which point we can use service for dog food, and it was like for our internal instance. Maybe we need something similar for workspaces.com to accelerate dog fooding and identify those like problematic areas where we cannot like end-to-end use our hosted instance for the dog fooding purposes, right? So that we still need to stick to the local ID. That's an open question. I think that we need to discuss it because it would be really helpful, in my opinion, to understand what are we going to do with the problematic repositories. So that we need a Docker image to produce, a Docker image to build. Without it, we cannot literally test it. And regarding the second comment, well, I personally don't think it's that dramatic. And yeah, we can just disable the commenting by default. And I haven't, for example, heard from the docs team that it is very distracting. For me, it's just an indicator that someone pushed to the repository and I can retest it. Of course, we can improve it later on by deleting the obsolete comments, which could be quite a few, but I mean, if you haven't updated the pull request, you wouldn't get the comment. If it is like distracting, this can be disabled just on the GitHub action level. And so for example, if for the operator you don't need it, you can comment in the pull request and I will disable it and status check.
Yes, thank you very much, Ilya, for your responses. So yeah, we could disable it, but usually developing and creating pull requests requires more than one command, and why I gave such example as docs repository, because I needed to respond on some comments, and I had to scroll all of these commands because I had like 70 commits or something like that. And it's really huge scroll, but by just this opening ID commands, it's just open it and look it. Looks very, very weird. But okay, I've got the idea, so to disable it requires settings. So thank you very much, Ilya. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think that Floron also added an issue that we can prioritize, update the existing comment instead of adding a new one. That's a good one. So we can probably add it for backlog in the next sprint. And regarding the feedback, it's like an open question, like what should we do? Maybe someone has any, or like what is the action item for those who not fully leverage the flow?
Any other comments or questions? So we can move on to the next topic. It's from Mikola about new required label. Mikola, could you present it?
Yes, thank you, Valery. So just a few notes from my side. I have already sent email for Chadev mailing list for discussion, but just want to say it here. So as some of you may know that we had trouble with caches in our operators, and basically to avoid OM problems, we increased the memory limit for our operator, but this is not scalable solution and only work around while we prepare proper fix. And the proper fix is basically is in this pull request. So we have to provide custom cache function for our operator, which was done in this pull request. But the problem is that the controller runtime framework has some limitations, and we cannot overcome them because this is how the framework done. And in the end, to manage caches in the right way, we have to filter all resources by labels. And because of limitations, we cannot put all conditions there. So we need to have at least one label on all the resources which operator could read. And if this is not a problem for the resources we create with operator and manage automatically, this is a change for resources that users provide. For example, secrets with SSH keys, config maps with additional TLS certificates, and so on. So when this pull request is merged, the right way to give such resources to Che is to add this label to the existing labels list for the resource. We will update the doc when this pull request is merged, and also we provide migration on operator start, which adds this label for every resource in the installed namespace. But if a user adds a new resource, he or she should add this label. So yeah, migration could also work, but operator restart needed, which is not desirable behavior. Sorry, and yeah. Also, I would like to ask the question about the label itself. So we decided to use already existing label to make the transition smoother and require an additional instance equals here label for user-defined resource. If anyone has any feedback or questions, because maybe I wasn't clear, sorry, with something, I tried to avoid some implementation details, but sometimes it's needed to explain some details to let you know why such decisions were made. So if something wasn't clear, please feel free to ask follow-up questions, or any comments are welcomed.
Nicola, and do you have the memory footprint for basically how much would you save with the label?
You mean the footprint for operator?
Yeah, I mean, like, so, yeah, I just, I will check it up in a second, but literally for the developer sandbox, I think average RAM consumption is around 1 gig for the operator at this point, with some spikes during the startup. I was wondering, like with the label introduction on a cluster with a similar amount of namespaces, what is going to be the memory footprint?
Thank you, Ilya. This is a very good question. I haven't measured this data, but from what I've seen while testing, it's a lot because I set the limit back to 256 megabytes of RAM, and it was never exceeded in all my tests. So even on start and in peaks. So it should be a lot. But sorry, I don't have exact numbers.
Yeah,
For me, it was less.
It would be interesting to test it on. Yeah, we can probably follow up on this later, but on something around like 5K namespaces instead of 500. And yeah, just was wondering based on this conversation. So like, how much will we save if the problem could be simply using higher limits? If it's just not self-sufficient.
I think we could go back to the previous values, but okay, let's test it first. Yeah, we can try in some sandbox or an RHPDS.
Yeah, any cluster with a lot more namespaces.
Yeah. Thank you, Ilya. So if there is no more questions, thank you everyone. And if you have some remarks a bit later, you may send a message to the ChatDev mailing list thread, but we have plans to merge it soon. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mikola. So if no questions, it seems it was the latest topic in the agenda today. And maybe someone wants to discuss another topic or some question. In that way, we can finish our call today. So I wish you to have a good week and see you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, folks.